Hi, I'm Nino Gonzalez, and welcome to another episode of Making Sense. Well, today we're going to talk about a marketing tool for small businesses that almost everybody has to do, and that deals with social media. And as a guest, I have an expert in that field, Adrian Medina. And Adrian, thank you very much for taking time to come out and talk about a course that the Small Business Development Center is offering, and a little bit about your background. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Adrian Medina. As you said, I'm with Leo Marketing.
Okay.
I'm the managing partner and executive vice president for Leo Marketing. We manage social media marketing for clients of large size, small size, medium size. We've been doing it for about 10 years now.
Okay.
And only recently have we kind of gotten to that point where we're getting fairly large and we have to sort of expand our processes a little more.
Yeah, sort of branch out a little bit. Okay.
A lot more.
Oh, all right. And so tell me a little bit about this course and why it's important for small businesses, of any size, to be engaged in social media marketing.
The Small Business Development Center, I've been with them for about 5 years now. Okay. And we've been dealing with small business owners, which are very impassioned people. I mean, they go there and they build a truck, or they have a bakery. I mean, they're just impassioned people, but sometimes that passion may not come with some business sense. And if you open up a shop, just like you throw a party, you need an invite, and that invite is advertising. A lot of them are too expensive for TV, so a lot of them start to do social media, but doesn't work a lot of times because they're just posting pictures of cats or pictures of videos of funny stuff, which is great for social media, but what is it doing for their business?
Right.
So that's what we do here.
And so what types of social media are we talking about? I know there's Facebook, but I know there's other avenues to reach people through that.
Well, Facebook is the primary. It's the 800-pound gorilla. We're talking about Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Those are the main channels that you're looking at. Pinterest is also in there. LinkedIn, if you're B2B. So there's a lot of stuff there. You can also consider email and your website sort of social. But it just depends on what your target customer is and who you're trying to get at.
Okay, so how would you suggest a small business go about this? Because as a small business owner, you're thinking that you're limited in time. You're limited in the time, and not just that, but maybe human resources. Because you might be the one that's doing everything. Because I know with bigger companies, they might have an individual or a set of individuals that handle all the social media.
Correct.
So how would you suggest for a small business to go about doing that?
From a single person startup to even a medium business, what you have to do is make the most out of your time. And I think scheduling is the big part. Is you can actually schedule on Facebook and any of these programs or these networks to actually make the most of your time. So you can schedule ahead of time as long as you have a plan.
Okay.
So scheduling is key, but ahead of that is having a plan, a really smart plan, a specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely goal. It's a plan that you know what you're going to do in January, February, March, all the way back in October. You should know ahead of time. If you're not doing that, then you're not making the most out of your time. Now, you can have, we call it Mijo marketing. You can have Mijo, hey, he knows Facebook, he can do it. But just because you know how to use Facebook doesn't mean that you know how to market on there. And I use the same sort of analogy. Just because you can drive a car does not make you a race car driver.
Right. And that's one of the things that I think the Small Business Development Center does, is that it helps small businesses, or maybe people that are thinking of opening up a small business, to plan. Whether it's a business plan, whether we're talking financial, in this case we're talking about marketing, but you've got to have a plan, because we don't go into business to fail. We want to plan to succeed, but a lot of small business owners, as you and I know, they just jump into it.
Yes.
Without a net.
With passion, nothing but passion.
And that passion only will take you so far. I know that if you're passionate about something you love doing and you're good at, you will succeed, but you need direction.
Correct. There's that old adage, a failure to plan is a plan to fail.
Right.
And you hit it right on the head. They have so much passion that they're like, oh, this is a great product, but they fail to invite people to try it and to be in the right places. So there's really, the Small Business Development Center has been very key in at least introducing basic topics. Facebook is great, Instagram's great, but what happens at the end of the day is our customer's going to come in and find that product that you promised.
Now, if you're a small business owner, would you suggest they enter into all those arenas or handle one at a time? Because I know it could possibly be overwhelming and maybe even frustrating.
Well, Facebook, again, the 800-pound gorilla is the only one that I would recommend initially for any business.
Right.
Outside of that, you should have a website, at least a basic website, because if you don't have a website, it's a credibility issue. Now it's like, I can't find them online. Well, I can find them on Facebook, but they don't have a website. So now you're talking about some credibility issues. Facebook, I wouldn't, go further than Twitter because it really doesn't help you as much.
Right.
It's more of a headline service. Instagram and Facebook are together. It's very, popular. But again, what you're trying to do is target your customers. It's a very finite sniper rifle. So if on Facebook you're just trying to target everybody, great. If you're just trying to target women, you can go Instagram. If you want to target men, you can go LinkedIn. So there's a demographic profile for each of the networks.
And so is there a point where maybe, first of all, you got to have them follow your page, I guess, get them to not just like your page, but to follow it so that way you can target them. But at some point, if I've heard that if you follow, sometimes you get inundated with all these ads. Is there a point of overposting?
Well, you can't post enough. In
Okay.
fact, Facebook has recommended if you post something in the morning, it's okay to post it at night, unless it has something to do with something in the morning. There is, unfortunately, Facebook has admitted that only about 2% of your followers or your likes are going to actually see your post.
Right.
So that 2%, if you have 10,000, that's only 200. Now you're talking small amounts of people. So the only way that you can on Facebook is, unfortunately, you have to pay. And I'm not talking about boosting. I'm not talking about hitting that little boost button at all, because then you're just throwing your money at Facebook, and Facebook is saying, all right, we're just going to give it to whoever we think that you should go after. It's sponsored ads. Sponsored ads, $100 a week, $200 a week, $300 a week. A nice ad that fits Facebook guidelines is what we typically recommend, but you have to know what you're trying to say.
And where are those ads?
Those ads show up in your feed.
Okay.
They'll show up on the right-hand side if you're on desktop. Mainly you'll see it'll say sponsored, or, like this page, that kind of stuff.
Right. And so even though somebody is following your page, they might not pay attention to the post. Is that what you're saying?
They won't get that delivered to them because they may not engage with your brand, or they may not be in that affinity group that Facebook has said, well, we're going to deliver this, post that this page made to this group of people. If you're not in that affinity group, all of a sudden,
But if you're following that business, they will.
Not 100% of them.
Not 100%.
Correct.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Because I've heard that, people that follow some sort of businesses, sometimes they get just bombarded with
Notifications.
notifications, and sometimes they stop unfollowing because they don't want to receive all those notifications.
And again, be prudent with what you're posting. Don't post cat videos unless your business is about cat videos. Be the expert in your field is what I try to say. If you're posting that much throughout the day, then that means you're not that busy, or you've scheduled over too much stuff. You can turn down your notifications and just receive them once a day. Okay. So there's tools already available that Facebook provides that you can not receive so much bombardment. Right.
Yeah. And so what do you suggest, like, for example, a small business to do that would be an effective ad on Facebook?
A picture of their product, nothing else, just a logo. And in the body of the post, it would actually tell them what to do. Hey, we're having a special today. I'm a hair salon, so $20 off your next haircut or whatever. Right. I think that makes the most amount of sense for most businesses, and it'll pass the guidelines of Facebook.
And then also probably maybe if you're a restaurant or let's say a bar or something like that, maybe you can advertise your daily specials on a post that goes out.
Correct, and they have to be timed correctly. You can't put out a happy hour ad during happy hour.
Right.
So you're talking about maybe around 2 o'clock, although some people get 2 o'clock is too early. It does take a while for that ad to get approved and sent over to Facebook so it gets sent to the right people.
Oh, so it doesn't happen automatically.
It's not automatic, not for sponsored ads. Yeah,
okay,
it takes up to 24 hours depending on what industry you're in.
So it all depends when you want that ad to be delivered to whoever's following you or the targeted market that you're aiming for, correct?
Yes, it's very targeted, and unfortunately so many people are doing it now that you're going to see a lot of the same stuff over and over again.
So if I'm following a business, right, that is in a specific type of industry, I might get, that's how they target, because I might get another business that is in the same type of industry, and I might get maybe an ad that might be like them, correct?
Correct. So for example, Applebee's. If you're a competitor to Applebee's, let's say it's Buffalo Wild Wings. If I'm Buffalo Wild Wings, I can actually target Applebee's customers, people that checked in, liked the page, been there, took a photo there. Again, we're giving a lot of information to Facebook. Right. And Facebook's taking that and making a profile and saying, this is a Applebee customer. Well, I've never checked in, I've never liked it. Well, you were there and it could sense you when you were there. So.
Or you visited their page,
or
something like that.
Exactly.
Right, correct. Or sometimes even just if you log into Facebook and you have your location button turned on your phone, correct?
Yes. I mean, they're gathering all this data, and they've really become social scientists when they're talking about, well, I go here. Okay, you're a wing eater, you're a pizza eater, and you get very specific on the targets.
Wow, okay, wow. Interesting. I did not know. So then after Facebook, let's say, we're comfortable with that, which what you're mentioning takes quite a bit of time, and now I can understand why large businesses and corporations have their own social media marketing unit, or even like political candidates or things like that. But so let's say I'm a small business owner and we've got Facebook. Okay, what would you suggest next? Now you said that Facebook ties in really well with Instagram. So what is Instagram? Let's talk about that in case people don't know about
Instagram is mobile only. Facebook has already said it's never going to be something that you can post through desktop ever. It has to be there and then. It has to be a picture, a photo, a video of something. I think it's up to 2 minutes. You can actually go live on Instagram, but it's just image based. That's really where it came from. Since Facebook's owned it, you can also do ads not only on Facebook, but also say, I also want Instagram. So your ad on Facebook will actually double down and go to Instagram as well.
Okay. And Instagram is a separate company, right?
No.
No?
No.
Are they owned?
It's wholly owned by Facebook.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
$8 billion, I believe it was, or $1 billion over 8 people, something like that.
Oh, wow. And so is there a separate charge to now target those people that are in Instagram?
If you use the Facebook Business Manager, you can actually just say, I want Facebook, a little checkbox, and you say, I have $100, I want to target this particular audience. They've already aggregated those across Facebook and Instagram. They just put it together and say, okay, well, you get some Instagram as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I did not know, that Instagram was owned by Facebook. Okay. And so with Instagram, you said it's video, it's mobile, it's pictures, and can you add captions in there and things
captions
like that?
You can. There's no links allowed unless you pay to play kind of thing. Your bio, you can have one link, so you can kind of push back to the bio. It's very much about the filters. You can do some boomerang style videos where the video just keeps going back and forth.
Right. Yeah, I've seen those where it sort of repeats, maybe a motion that somebody is doing, or if they're eating a chicken wing or cheering a team on, and it just replays over and over again. Correct?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll come back and talk a little bit more about social media and marketing for small businesses on the second half of Making Sense. See you then. Welcome to the second half of Making Sense, and we're talking about social media marketing for small businesses, and we're talking here with Adrian. And I got really into this Facebook thing, and you said now teaming it up with Instagram, but let's talk about some other avenues that some other businesses use. You said Twitter, maybe not. Yes.
Twitter is good if you have a lot of content. It's just not a very visual media.
Okay.
It's great for headlines, for news, for sports. If you want to keep up with your favorite star, that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's great to follow.
But probably not for a small business.
I've yet to see an effective use out of it. I think maybe the first time I saw Twitter being used effectively was a pizza business next to a high school on the east side.
Right.
would tweet her specials right before lunch.
Oh, okay.
And say there's only 7 slices at $1 a piece, and these huge slices. So they obviously not only sold those 7 slices, they sold another 20 on top of that.
Right.
At the regular price.
Yeah, and especially since they're close to a high school, and a lot of high school students have Twitter accounts. Correct. And so they get that instantly, and that
they ran there.
And really that doesn't have to go through the approval process that Facebook does. Correct. So there could be some aspects where small businesses can use Twitter.
You just got to be very savvy. You have to know your audience. You got to know exactly what they're on. You know, a lot of information ahead of actually marketing is going to make the most of that marketing effort.
And then you mentioned another one. You mentioned Snapchat, right?
Snapchat is a Goliath right now. They're very popular. You can do filters, geo-filters, where you have an event, you can sponsor that event, and you know somebody flips through and puts their geo-filter on there. It's great. It's 10 seconds of video. You can you know, mesh them together, go back in time and post it. It's just a very fun. And some people don't think it's a social media at all, but it is, because you're sharing stuff.
Right.
Anytime you're sharing stuff, you want to, you know, get it out to the world.
And how can a small business use that? If they're, you know, I know.
You have to be very savvy. Again, it's about savviness. You can also use Snapchat like a dentist. You know, here's a before, here's an after.
Okay.
Just take the video before. See, here's the teeth before, we'll clean them, and then boom. And now tell me what you feel like. And you can talk to the actual patient. There was a plastic surgeon out of Florida that used it effectively. Now he's known as the Snapchat, you know, plastic surgeon.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just 10 seconds at a time. But think about that, 10 seconds at a time, and people want to know what's next. And it's compelling content too.
And that's usually what maybe some individuals can handle is short little segments of information instead of watching maybe a 30-minute infomercial on TV, correct?
We are so impatient. Even 10 seconds seems too long now. I believe what it comes down to is, number one, watch what's behind you, because you never know what's going to be behind you, especially when you're taking a selfie. You're like, oh, great, and there's a dog somewhere, you know, in the back. So Snapchat's great, but again, I think the most effective one is still going to be your Facebook.
And then you mentioned another one, LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is business to business. It's not really business consumer side. When we want to talk about hiring, firing, that kind of stuff, it's great for human resources. If you're looking to replace somebody, if you're looking for a new job, it's great. There's a lot of B2B, meaning I have a sprocket that only, you know, another business is going to buy. It's great to actually connect with, you know, the principals there. Right. So it's more of a true business networking. It's sort of a professional Facebook.
And then I also know that a lot of business professionals use it as also to network and also to possibly move up the ladder within another organization, correct?
Yes. Oh, yes. I've gotten many a headhunting through that, and I'm like, I love El Paso. I can't go anywhere else.
And again, if you're a business professional or even a student that's planning on using LinkedIn, maybe make sure that you go about it appropriately, because that could kill you, correct?
Yeah, the one thing I say to any high school students out there, college students, please don't make up the dumbest email on the planet. You know, Rocket Stud 5, you know, just get rid of that stuff. And really you need to be professional and be smart about it, because it's going to follow you forever.
And also what you list about yourself.
Correct. That's
right. So now let's talk about maybe a success story that you had involving social media marketing and how it helped them.
I have several, actually. The one that comes to mind is Tank's Bloody Mary Mix.
Okay.
They were a mom and pop sort of, you know, love the Bloody Mary Mix if you've ever had it, really spicy. They came to the seminar and they said, you know, we want to go online with our stuff. How do we do that? So we got them an e-commerce site. Okay. The e-commerce site doubled their revenue. Within 1 year, they doubled their revenue. But they were marketing it differently. They were posting stuff on Facebook. Initially, it was just a picture of the bottle, But then we said, let's put a picture of the drink at the bar, you with the hat, you know, and start, you know, give it some
maybe recipes, right?
Yeah, character. Right. Yeah, the recipe was key, and they eventually ended up selling their company because it got to that point. Yeah.
My goodness, and you know, also one of the things that can kill you on social marketing is reviews.
Oh, wow.
You know, and not only through Facebook, but also, you know, there's other ones like Yelp and all those other ones that are out there. Travel Advisor, if people are traveling and it's a restaurant or a hotel or even a bar.
The unfortunate part with the internet is a lot of people think it's okay to say whatever they want behind their keyboard.
Right.
And there's the anonymity, but there's a business behind that. A lot of business owners don't want to be, you know, dealing with the reviews, or they don't answer those reviews.
Okay.
I think it's key to tell every business owner out there, if you see a bad review for your business, you address it, because that's an opportunity. That opportunity is to do an online public customer transaction without any impediment. You're going to see the response. I'm sorry you had a bad time. Let's, you know, come in and rectify it. We're going to give you da 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 da. If they don't answer, they can see that at least the business owner was there, that they answered appropriately, that they didn't just spout off, oh, you're the worst customer I've ever had, but they made an effort, and that speaks volumes, because people don't look for the good reviews. They think, oh, that's a mom and pop, that kind of stuff. They look for the bad reviews. I mean, I know I do.
Right.
I look for the bad reviews, and if there was an answer from the business owner, it means a lot.
And especially an appropriate response.
Yes.
Like you said, you don't want to get into a shouting match, right? You know, where they come back and respond back, and then you respond back.
Yeah, you
don't
want to
cut it off there.
Correct. So the best way that I've seen is, if you see a bad review, take the person that actually, because you probably know that person, you know that customer came in and you know, broke dishes everywhere. Take that emotion out and say, well, you broke all this stuff. Look at that as the opportunity. Again, I go back to the opportunity. All those people are going to see that. So just say, I'm sorry you had a bad time, come back in, and you make that effort. If he responds negatively, then they know this guy, no matter what we do, he's not going to be placated.
And let's talk about, have you had businesses that don't answer to reviews?
Ooh, I've had many, and that's dangerous, because then that means you're not listening to the customer.
Okay.
Today's world, there's businesses out there, I won't name the bad ones or the good ones, but the good ones really do make an effort to respond in a positive manner, even if they're at odds with the customer. They need to be diplomatic,
right?
Because it's their business that's on the line. It's not just that one customer, it's the 10 customers around him that are waiting to see his response.
Right. Not only that, I think one of the things that this brings up, especially like if you're in a service business, whether it's a restaurant, bar, or any other type of business establishment, is you got to train your employees, because you got to train them that there's a camera there all the time, right?
So the last part of that is, I think a lot of people, they go to a restaurant, take your example, and they sit there and they take pictures of their food, right? So by the time they're done taking pictures of their food, they start to eat it and it's cold.
It's cold.
So they complain and they go on Yelp. They don't understand that we're part of the problem ourselves. So the staff should really say, can you go ahead and, you know, snap your photos now, and, you know, or, you know, train them a little bit more, be, again, diplomatic on this, because I don't think we understand how much we're sharing and how much that's affecting our daily lives.
Right.
So.
So let's. Do you have another success story on or maybe a failure that it didn't work out for them?
The ones that I've had, I've always encouraged to respond.
Okay.
One of our larger clients is a sports bar, and they have a lot of complaints at night.
Oh my goodness.
Well, because what do they do at night?
Right.
They drink.
You drink.
You know, you respond kindly in the morning, and you're good to go. There was this one event where I think it was a boxing event or something. The gentleman was inebriated, and he just decided to spout on everything, from Google to Yelp to whatever it was. I think he was like 5 deep when they finally stopped him. And they reached out to him and said, look, we know that you were pretty out of it. In fact, we didn't call the police. So let's come to a term. So we actually put him in a commercial, which failed miserably, because the following week he got arrested as well. So there's fine line as to how much you want to bring them in. Just keep that diplomatic, vision forward,
Okay, and so let's talk about websites. You said you must have a commercial website to sort of validate your business.
Correct.
But sometimes when I'm looking up a website on my phone, it doesn't work, or it takes too long.
Yeah.
So not only do we have to make websites for the PC or laptop, but also mobile, correct?
Well, first, you should always design your websites for mobile first.
Right.
70 to 80% now is now completely mobile.
Right.
My daughter doesn't even know what a PC is. She's looking at it, trying to touch the screen. I'm like, no, it's just a laptop. You must have one. That's your owned media. When we're talking about earned, owned, and paid, your owned is your website, your business, the little placards everywhere, what you own. And you're the only one that can tell your story. Facebook has forms that you fill out, and it'll say, I only want to know this information. You can put your information on our Facebook page, but it's ours. Ultimately, Facebook is a free platform that you're using completely free of charge, except for advertising, that they own the content. They own this content. It's not yours to say, hey, I'm going to stream it off of Facebook, which you can, but they'll insert commercials there very near future. The owned media is very powerful because, again, if I'm watching a TV commercial and I say, hey, that's great, first thing I do is whip up my phone, look for it. If I can't find it, I'm not going to call it.
Right.
Not going to go further in that conversation. So you must have a responsive, it's called a responsive website, that is mobile first and then PC after.
And one of the things that I've done is, especially when visiting a new business, always looking for reviews or websites or even a Facebook page, it's not updated.
Oh, yes.
It's not updated.
If you start it, please continue.
Not even their phone numbers, if it's changed, or their hours.
That's the one thing that really irked me about a local pet food company. They did not update their hours. And every Sunday I'm like, what time does it open? Because it always never failed that I was trying to buy dog food on a Sunday morning. It's like 9, 10, and they didn't have their hours. Finally, when they got a social media person for all their locations, that's the first thing they fixed.
Right.
And people were like, oh, finally, we know what time it's open.
Because that's one of the things that I see is they create a web page and it might be like 3-4 years old.
Correct.
And it hasn't even been touched.
So your websites, try to update them 2 to 3 years at the most, because technologies change, your designs change, people's phones change. For sure, your Facebook page, try to update it seasonally. So every 3 months, every quarter, and talk about the seasons. Talk about, current topics if you can.
Well, let's talk about this seminar, in the final 2 minutes that we have, and tell us, you're going to be running the seminar.
Yes.
You're going to be teaching it, and tell us what small businesses can learn and when it's going to be and how much.
The social media marketing for small business, it's 2 actual seminars. One's the basics of online marketing. What is it to market online?
Right.
The specific elements, video, photos, the text, that kind of stuff, and social media scheduling. Scheduling is key, as we talked about earlier, that the scheduling makes the most amount of time for any small business owner. So on a Saturday, you can knock out an entire week or a month of scheduling, just let it run. But you do have to monitor it and answer it and respond. They take place Friday, September 22nd, 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m., and Friday, September 29th, 8:30 to 12.
Okay.
They're here at the Small Business Development Center, Building B, I believe.
All right. And how much is the cost on these seminars?
Each seminar is $25. You can pick both of them, or you can pick either one of them. The first one, again, the September 22nd, is Basics of Online Marketing, and the 29th is Social Media Scheduling.
Okay, great. And why don't you give out your contact information? I know you're probably busy with a lot of clients and more work than you can handle, but maybe if somebody is interested in contacting you directly, give them your phone number.
My name is Adrian Medina. As we spoke earlier, I'm the Managing Partner and Executive Vice President of Leo Marketing. My number is 915-204-1019, and my email is adrian@leomarketing.com.
Okay, well, great. And, hearing all of this, it's like, if I have a small business, I know it can get very frustrating. And like you said, maybe I'll get Mijo to do it, but...
no Mijo marketing.
I know, no Mijo marketing. But sometimes it's hard to get a grasp of all these social media concepts if you're not comfortable with them.
Correct.
Especially, you might be comfortable on the social side, but not on the marketing side. And that's where these 2 classes will help you. Well, thank you very much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you. And I hope you attend these sessions. And we'll see you next time on another episode of Making Sense. Thank you.